I'm Liesel and I'm the journalist for Kyiv Post. Today I'm having an online interview with Liesel, Vaidya and Madison Campbell. They are the co-founders of Leda Health organization. This organization helps sexual assault survivors. It provides them with help, resources, care, and basically guides through their healing process. Liesel, Madison, thank you for joining us today. So I will probably start with the general question. What kind of help do you usually provide to sexual assault victims? Could you please describe it in stages?
Of course. Liesel?
Yes, so we provide on-demand support to sexual assault survivors, all the way from forensic DNA evidence collection to other follow-up services such as emergency contraceptive, access to STI testing, toxicology screenings, as well as access to a 24/7 care team comprised of forensic experts, as well as longer-term support in the realm of mental health support.
So as far as I understand, your organization is basically the guide through the healing process.
Correct. And I myself was a sexual assault survivor. And so I understand how traumatic being a sexual assault survivor is. And every piece of technology and every service that we offer is to help folks that are survivors that might not feel comfortable reporting.
So actually your answer is very connected to my next question. Because on your website I read that you are working like survivors for survivors. So does it mean that all the people involved in your organization have been sexually assaulted in the past?
The majority of people that work here have been sexually assaulted. And if it's not them, they have someone close to them who has been sexually assaulted or they've worked in the sexual assault realm. And so every single person that is a part of Lita is deeply, deeply connected to the understanding that as a survivor or as someone who's been around survivors, how important it is to provide those services being survivor-centric.
Yes and no. The one thing I was very curious about is the fact that usually women who've been sexually assaulted, they do not report the fact to the police or even hide the fact from their families. Why do usually women act like this?
I think women, generally speaking, are scared, right? We're scared of telling someone, scared of someone blaming us. And it can be a very traumatic moment to go outside of your home and try to take action. And that's why with the majority of services that Lita is providing, it allows survivors to take that first step without necessarily interfacing with law enforcement immediately. So it really allows those survivors to slowly enter the system in the speed that they would want to.
You know, recently, since the war started in Ukraine, there have been like thousands of reports about the sexual abuse of Ukrainian women by Russian occupiers. There are plenty of traumatic stories, and as far as I understand, you also help women in Ukraine. Could you please explain how did you get involved in helping Ukrainian women?
Liesel?
We started getting contacted by several individuals as well as organizations that have been doing relief work in Ukraine. This was earlier this year, probably in April. And after, months of having been in conversations with them, having been in conversations with some of the authoritative bodies in Ukraine, we then sent over essentially our early evidence kits. We also donated emergency contraceptives so that they may be used and they may be able to help these survivors who have been affected in the war zones in Ukraine.
Can you please name the organizations you are working with, like government or non-government?
So we worked directly with organizations such as Zone for Ukraine. We also worked with U8 Direct. We also indirectly, in the sense that the organizations that we worked with, they worked in Ukraine with the Ministry of Internal Affairs, different forensic bureaus in different locations. And we've also worked with Voices Amplified. So we worked with several different organizations to provide both emergency contraceptive as well as our early evidence kits. And they then have been working with a lot of other organizations on the ground to really logistically distribute as well as oversee the use of these services.
So once again, on your website, I've read about the early evidence kit. This is actually the first time I heard about it. Can you please explain what is it actually?
Yes, so an early evidence kit is essentially a kit that allows folks that have been sexually assaulted to collect evidence from them. And so that can be evidence of a sexual assault. So that could be evidence vaginally, anally, orally, or just on the body. It allows users to collect that time-sensitive DNA evidence alongside their clothes. And the reason why that evidence is so important to collect is further in a trial, you'll be able to test that DNA to see not only what is your DNA, but what is the DNA of the person who sexually assaulted you, hopefully bringing that person to justice in the future. And we understand this is going to be a very long amount of time before Ukrainian women and children and even men are able to bring justice to the atrocities and war crimes that have happened. But we are very lucky to be a part of that and be able to provide resources during this time.
Thank you, Liesel, Madison, and some more couple of questions. And how many of these early evidence kit have you already provided for Ukrainian women?
There's 1,000 rape kits or early evidence kits that have been provided into Ukraine and over 1,000 units of emergency contraceptive.
Okay, I think that's all questions I had. So thank you, Madison. Thank you, Liesel. I will leave the link for the website of the Leda Health organization below our interview. So thank you for contacting me today. Thank you for joining me and for having this conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this interview. Please subscribe to Kyiv Post channel, leave your comments, and see you next time.